So in NBA 2K25, Victor Wembanyama is what you would consider a demigod build. Since joining the league, I can definitely say he's become one of the most dominant young prospects that we can look forward to in the near future. And with this Victor Wembanyama build that I got for y'all today, this one's going to be able to do everything from dribble, shoot, be a true playmaker, also be able to score down low with the finishing, and be one of the most elite rim protectors. So with this build today, I got it covered from top to bottom. The finishing all the way down to the physicals. This is one of the most best all-around centers that you can make this year. So before we move any further, I just gotta say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. Comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from, and I'll definitely be sure to get back to you with the response. And if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family. Now from here, man, let's get into the breakdown of this build. Now, when it comes towards making a Victor Wembanyama build, the main thing that you really want to focus on. Now look, if you max out your height this year, you're going to be losing out on a bunch of attributes. So when making an archetype like Wemby, you got to make sure that you can pretty much do a little bit of everything. And that's what I'm aiming for with this archetype. I did not decide to go with the max height. So you can decide to go with max height or go with something around 6'11". But personally, anything from 6'11" to max height 7'3" is going to be perfect. And you can pretty much round your builds out however you personally feel is best for your own play style. And honestly, you really got to look at which animations you're unlocking with these kind of big men. Now, a primary key, if you want to be able to get pro dribble moves on a big man build like this one, you need to make sure that you are going at least with a 70 ball handle. Now on this actual archetype, you can adjust it to go with at least a 71. That actually will be able to allow you to get handles for days on the bronze tier. And honestly, that's just to start with this kind of archetype, because when it comes towards that interior, I've made this build a few different ways, and one that I found is that you can actually make it to maintain elite contact dunks. On top of that, man, you know, you're also going to be able to get the best layup styles out of this archetype today. And especially for the finishing as a whole, this build, from you can see on the gameplay, can pretty much dominate any opponent on the inside. So a main takeover that I do actually like to run on this build is going to be great wall takeover ability. And that actually does give you a plus 15 put towards your strength. Truly, for that defensive side, I think it's one of the most important aspects that you can focus on. And when it comes towards the shooting as a whole, this build, I can definitely say that I get the best jump shots, the bases, releases, and that actually does allow you to create some of the best custom jump shots. And personally, that's what I'm aiming for in this archetype, to be the best all-around center. Now, this archetype truly does remind me of those max height 7'3" stretch bigs that we would see back in the OG 2K15 days. And if you have been playing 2K since the first original part, 2K14, let me know down below in the comment section. Smash a like on this video. I would highly appreciate it. Shout out to y'all, the rich family. You know, they're saying Victor Wembanyama is an alien, bro. He's not even from Earth. This dude is 7'5", 7'4". Bro, he is not from Earth. This is one of Elon Musk's test puppets. You know, he's from Mars. You know, he's one of those creatures, man. So with this build, that's exactly what you're getting. This is an archetype that you're gonna be like, whoa, a 7'3" center moving like a playmaker. That's exactly why this is the alien Victor Wembanyama build. This build can do pretty much everything, and it really breaks that stigma of big men not being able to move and dribble. That's exactly what I'm doing with this build. So if you want a full breakdown of my dribble animations and a tutorial on how to do the side-to-side cheese, I will put both videos with a link in the description, and also a little pop-up card right here. As far as when it comes towards this archetype on that defensive side, I can say this is one of the best pure all-around defenders. Not only at protecting the rim, Wemby is also one of the most tenacious rim protectors, and with this archetype, it gets a small glimpse of that. You can pretty much guard any position 1 through 5, and I feel like the wingspan on this build makes a huge difference. It actually does allow you to, now look, this is if you make the adjustment to get bronze limitless range, which I did on this archetype, but I'm going to be showing y'all a little bit of a different version. Now, if you have any type of changes or suggestions towards this archetype, be sure to let me know down below. You know, there's more than one way to create this kind of build. And if you have an archetype that is similar to this one. I'm really curious down below on how y'all created it. You know, there's plenty different ways to replicate a Victor Wembanyama build, but to be able to find one like this one, you can see exactly how much success you're going to be having and the way that you're going to be able to play from the gameplay that I'm showing you today. So it's all going to come down to your preference and personal play style. But what I did on this build is I wanted to make sure that I at least get bronze limitless range, but I'm not sacrificing too much on my defensive side, because y'all know when you drop that wingspan, it's going to take away from the defense in a big way. And personally, I don't like to do that, but if you want to be the main shooter on your team, that is just one minor risk that you can take on this build. Now, remember, you can choose any height, wingspan, weight. The main thing to do is create the build to play exactly like what Wemby can in real life. So that's exactly what I captured with this build. It's not necessarily always going with the correct attributes, the correct height, wingspan, and all that, because we are really limited when it comes towards creating certain NBA players. And Victor Wembanyama, man, he's an alien, a unicorn, not from this earth. So to be able to get a small glimpse of this in NBA 2K25 is truly special. And I can say that this year does open up that versatility of what we can actually create, what we're seeing in the meta, and honestly the changes throughout the 2K cycle. You know, this year, inside bigs are the meta, and for those of y'all who are new to NBA 2K25, I have over 100 different builds on my channels that you can go ahead and check out right now. I'll also put a little pop-up card of the top 10 most rare builds that you have never seen right here. Now, the playmaking on this build is something that I feel is truly special. And as you can see, just from me doing that side-to-side cheese, I truly feel like this move does allow me to be one of the fastest and more fluid dribblers on the court at all times, especially when you take into account taking this build into game modes like the 4s, the 5s, the rec, pro-am. This is a huge mismatch on that offensive side. And when it comes towards the defense, I made it to where this build can actually maintain a 99 strength. So look, Victor Wembanyama, he's skinny, looking like an alien on the court. This build maintains a 99 strength if you're picking the correct takeovers. Now, that's a huge difference compared to having an 89. Getting that plus 15, or if you want to use, you know, a different takeover like Fortress, Splash Tower, those are still going to give you a boost towards your defensive attributes and also the three-point shot. But it's all going to come down to which takeover ability you want and also how you want to play. Now look, man, it's not the easiest thing to create a Victor Wembanyama build, especially to play like him. And this build dominates on both ends of the court. It doesn't matter if it's defense or offense. I got bro playing exactly like Wemby in the NBA, especially with his elite rim protecting. This is a build that can do just that. Now I can say that on the offensive side, I don't think there's a lot of builds that have come across to stop this one. And if you happen to be on that defensive side, this build has more than enough capabilities to pretty much go up against any matchup. And what I truly like about this one is that it's fast and versatile enough and lengthy enough to keep up with just about any guard position. Now, I truly think that's special because a lot of big men this year struggle to guard guards, especially when they're switched on screens. And I think with the height and wingspan on this archetype today, it's the perfect blend of not sacrificing too much of being a defender and also an offensive scorer. So on this build, you're going to be able to do everything from get contact dunks in the post, the best layup styles, some pretty good dunk packages, especially out of the park ones. Now, on top of that, you pretty much have every jump shot available to you to be created. Now, from there, you get some of the upgraded passing styles with pro dribble animations. And on this build, I wanted to maintain at least bronze handles for days, and I did just that. But when it comes towards that defensive side, this is where the build is really going to shine, especially if you followed along creating it exactly as I showed y'all today. This is going to be a build that you can pretty much take into any game mode, find success with, and remember, you can make your own types of changes, adjustments, anything to your own liking and play style. As long as you see it fit to yourself, man, I promise you, it's always going to work out. Make sure you cater this build towards your own play style. Be sure to go ahead and check out that video of my dribble animation so you can start moving like this. And you know, man, to be able to create a 7'3" demigod this year, to even see a small glimpse of what we used to have in previous 2Ks, I can say that with the way that I can dribble on this archetype today, really does give me that nostalgia feeling of crossover 16 from NBA 2K15. Now I'm curious, what do y'all think of this gameplay? You know, does this remind you of the OG 2K days, especially with the way that I'm moving? You know, big men can definitely dribble this year. I don't know who said they couldn't, but as far as for being able to get some of the best animations in the game, 2K has allowed just that. Even with being able to get Giannis Antetokounmpo crossover on a big man, that's crazy this year, man. Like, to really say that big men are getting pro dribble animations really shows how the league is changing and where it's moving today. And especially with the abundance of big men going away from inside scoring, catering more towards shooting, that's exactly what we're getting this year. You know, I feel like a lot of players are starting to not work on the post game as much as they once used to. A lot of players are working more on ball handling, shooting, playing more like guards, and I feel like that's a small glimpse of what Victor Wembanyama brings to the league. Not only is he one of the most unique players that we have ever seen, but he's going to be one of the most dominant in his time. So I just want to say thank y'all so much for your support. God bless every single one of you. For those of y'all who made it to the very end. And just know that I got another video like this one dropping for you tomorrow. So be sure to stay tuned. If you have a certain NBA player build that you want to see next, be sure to comment down below. And I'll be sure to take that into consideration. So before we get out of here, I just gotta say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. God bless every single one of y'all, the Rich family. And if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.